Hey everybody, it's Corey from Thought Soldiers. So, wanted to do just a little update, talk about some collective energies I pulled last night, and just kind of what's been going on. I see there's two groups of people, and this is a similar theme that's been popping up that I've already been discussing. That has been that a lot of people are have this forward momentum. They're picking up and they're moving to their next destination. But there seems to be some reflection on everything that's behind them, versus looking forward to everything coming forth. And one thing that I have to keep in mind when I'm making changes, and I'm moving, whether it be internal motion, physical motion, moving into a new environment, moving to a new job, when I'm getting into the next position for the next level of my life and the journey, there is a moment to reflect on things that have happened, integrating the learning lessons, focusing on the wisdom from the learning lessons versus the details. But there's also this fear, it seems to be popping up, of that, of everything you're leaving behind, and longing for not repeating patterns, or wanting that experience to come with you into your new destination. Well, a lot of us right now, we're starting a whole new book. We're starting a whole new life. This is the evolution and the change and the growth that is involved in the Ascension process. As we start to do the internal work, we get moved into our next destination. And there's a lot of fear that comes up with the new, and what to expect, and what we need to recognize, and I need to recognize this myself, is that is the unknown, and that is the experience that we are calling in through the fifth dimensional experience. And as long as we are living heart-centered and filled with love, and really combating our negative belief systems that are ingrained in us, that are programmed in us, and we are really living in that love frequency, those experiences they're not going to carry with us into the new experience, as long as you're doing the inner work. So remember that, these patterns and these cycles that we're so fearful of coming forward again, or reliving in through a new face, through a new scenario, whatever it may be. The only way that those things are going to arise is if the programming and the belief system hasn't fully been released. So it seems like, when the phases of change occur, there's the initial phase where you take that leap of faith, and you're running towards your destiny. And then there's the second phase that seems to be the testing of your belief systems, and to see whether or not you're going to stick out this faith and this action step that you took towards achieving your goals, or towards expanding your experience, upgrading, whatever it may be that you're upgrading. And then the third phase is confirmation, that everything is working accordingly. You're going to get all the synchronicity, you're going to get all the signs and all the signals, and it's all being driven by faith. So it seems like in these periods of transition, and in forward movement towards landing in these new zones, whatever it may be for you, whether it be job, relationship, new friendship, or new physical location, like for myself, there is that time, that combat period of your belief systems coming up into check, being reflected back to you into your reality, so you can take a more inward glance at what is stopping your forward momentum. So as soon as you commit to any sort of change or transition in your life, as soon as you say, I'm going to do this, and you start taking action steps, well, the universe is going to provide everything you need in order to grow and to expand into that new level, whatever it may be. And so that may be replaying themes, to basically show you what programs are still active, what limitations you're still running on, because you're already calling in this vibrational resonance to come in to your field. And what's being asked of you is if your vibration is coinciding with the belief systems. There's, it's twofold when it comes down to this level of attracting and creation in what you're trying to experience in your day-to-day reality. And so it's going to be a vibration, but it's also going to be your belief system. And, sudden windfalls and things like that, and sudden miracles can happen for people, whether it was attracted in or it was destined and fated for that change to occur. What's going to happen is your belief systems are going to be exposed to you, especially during this period right now, where you're going to start to see exactly what's playing out in your internal reality that needs to be shifted and adjusted. That's not to say that your leap of faith is wrong or that your transition isn't for your highest good. What it is it's spirit, it's yourself showing it's the universe reflecting back to you, hey, this is what you want, you're taking action steps, this is what you need to work on. And so that's a lot of this combat feeling, this fighting off is you're not, it may seem like you're fighting off the external world, but what it is it's just a reflection showing you what needs to change internally. And so we could go in and make the internal adjustments, shift it out of our field by doing our shadow work, by really reprogramming our subconscious mind and really shaping our reality to that of our liking. The other thing too is that we can really start to, when we start to live this heart-centered experience and really become the masters of our vibration and the masters of our energy, we can use our discernment when we land in certain environments or engage with certain people as to what is no longer serving you in that energetic imprint. And it takes a really big level of integrity towards honoring your soul, because so many of us that I've seen on this journey and that I've heard, we want to honor our souls, but we also want to honor the individuals around us, especially when it comes down to family, old friends, things of that nature. And what happens is when you start to listen to your soul and you start to listen to your soul's calling, what will happen is you will see that things are out of resonance, and things are no longer working, and there can be an internal battle that is basically you're fighting off what your soul needs, but also what you want to commit to, based on promises you've made or people that you had projected were going to be in your life, or environments you were going to be around for the rest of your life. And this is where I found personally to not make promises, because as we are shedding and we are evolving and we are growing and we are destined to live new experiences towards our spiritual growth and our spiritual expansion, honoring our soul and the integrity it takes to honor our soul also requires us listening to what is out of resonance and what is within resonance. And so this conflict that could be occurring externally is this internal conflict, as you want to honor your soul, but you also want to honor your human presence. And this is a level of balance and discernment that you got to use on your own, whether or not you want to engage in those things or not. There's been a lot of me and one other person that I'm really good friends with, we both encountered situations where we were getting negative intuitive messages over action steps that we were taking in our life, and we chose not to listen to that intuition because, spirit wants this for us as seamless and as easy as possible. But there are still some things, since we do have free will, that we choose to stick out and choose to continually engage in, because we know it's necessary for our soul growth, but it's something that we really want to experience on a human level. And that's when spirit starts to make the adjustments internally to be able to work with that. But also, you may be getting these messages to not engage in a certain thing, and it's not necessarily an emotional response. Like, it could feel in resonance, but what's going on is you could be receiving intuitive messages where it's clairaudiently, through readers, through your intuition, not to engage in something or to step out of a whatever it may be, job, relationship, so on and so forth. Well, that's because spirit wants the ascension process as easy on you as possible. But since you have free will, you can consciously choose whether or not you want to engage in something, and then everything starts to adjust accordingly. It's just that things may take longer. It may take a little bit more of an emotional wear and tear on you, a spiritual wear and tear, especially if there's other parties involved, because it's a lot easier when you are doing changes and transitions on your own and no one else is involved, because you can just kind of move accordingly. But as soon as you start to engage other people into your day-to-day life, whether it be your family, your partner, friends, and you want them included on your journey, if they fall out of resonance, it may not be you. It may be that they have some integration in shadow work, or they may have a belief or a program that's running that they need to extinguish. Well, and that's up to them if they want to extinguish that or not. So in these transition phases of honoring the integrity of your soul, we're asked to take some leaps of faith that may not seem plausible right now, or we can't really fully understand why we're asked to take certain leaps of faith. But this is where we flow into it and we trust that it's going to work out for our highest good, regardless of what it may seem like. And remember, some of us still have fear programming running that wants to keep us in those old realms and doesn't want us to take that quantum jump into the next phase of your development. And so if that's occurring, it's completely normal. It's just showing you that there's still some BS, some belief system that's operating that needs to be wiped clean. How you choose to wipe that is entirely up to you. There's many different ways, and you can look it up online. And me, I'm still fighting some belief systems, especially when it comes down to abundance and things of that nature. That's a part of this kind of the growth and the evolution of Corey, is really understanding the abundance that this universe provides to me, and the fact that this abundance can come in an abundance of lack depending on my belief system. So we are abundant beings, and that abundance can arrive in forms of an abundance of lack, an abundance of abundance, an abundance of happiness, an abundance of depression. It depends on what I'm resonating at, what I'm projecting into the universe, and what the universe wants to reflect back to me, so I can truly see what inner workings are going on and how I can reshape the subconscious and merge all of these things together in order to expand into the best version of myself. So, this has been an interesting balance point in the transition period, and there's a lot of information that's coming through, and I'm just kind of channeling, flowing right now. So whatever resonates, stick with it. What doesn't, just throw it out. But it seems like there's a lot of combating that's going on in the transition, or fighting your beliefs, fighting your external, so on and so forth. The idea is to not fight on the external, because that war, that conflict has been a pattern that has risen over time, and it's an agenda that I'm currently trying to wipe out, because the war, the fight, the discord, the disagreement, whether it be external or internal, is still a program that's running, because we're meant to love, we're meant to unify, we're meant to show compassion. And that's where we have to really open up our hearts. We have to do what we can towards opening up and expanding our hearts and seeing through the eyes of compassion and living in the heart. And so the fighting, if you're noticing, some discord in your external environment, or there's a lot of an external backlash, go within. It's something I keep saying, and I keep reiterating it, because I noticed that on my ascension journey, I have forgotten that when I do the internal work, the external starts to adjust accordingly. Especially during the transformation stages and these really long cycles of change and growth, as my belief systems are being fed back to me by the universe to show me what needs to change. And that's where we just go within. We go within and we start to adjust accordingly, and then wake up the next day and see how the reflection looks, and then keep going. Another thing that I noticed too, that was going on with me, was my external reflection was beautiful, but my internal reflection was completely screwed up. And it didn't come back to show me anything. It just showed that I was running a negative thought loop, that was keeping me stuck. So when I would wake up, if I switched my perspective to a gratitude perspective and really looked at my environment, I had a lot of beautiful things going on and a lot of beautiful things going for me. It's just that it felt so strange because of the internal mechanisms that were going on as the programs and the belief systems were being stripped out of my field and stripped out of my subconscious mind. And so that's going to show you what's really operating too. It's going to show that you may be running in a negative thought loop, that it can end up creating and reflecting back to you some negative circumstances. And that's something that was happening with me. Everything was beautiful on the external, and I got very negative. I started to spiral out, and then after a few days, it was reflected back to me, and there was this huge, punch in the face. And now that I've landed in my new environment, I'm seeing with some new eyes, some new perspective. I have a new level of awareness of what's going on. I'm seeing how my belief systems are being reflected back to me on a day-to-day basis to show me, Corey, this is what needs to be in check, because right now you are trying to get to the next level in your life. You're trying to increase your abundance. You're trying to increase your level of self-worth. You're trying to increase your ability to engage with a community and to be able to be the teacher that you want to be, as a lot of us are stepping into our teaching roles right now. And that's a big thing, a part of this transition phase, is that we're recognizing that our mastery is going to be held within this lifetime, but we're being called to really step out and to be the teachers that we are. And if you're going through this right now, if you're going through a phase where you're trying to expand into your role, full-time, however that may be for you, and you have any fear of doing it, just remember that this is a program that I run. Is I go, well, as soon as I have this, and this done, that is when I will be ready. Well, that's still a delay tactic, and it'll never get done, because I'll keep coming up with an excuse, or I'll keep coming up with a reason why I couldn't start on something. And what that does is that keeps my dreams and my imagination going and thrive, or striving for that goal. But then it's sending a subconscious signal to not take the action steps towards achieving that goal because I'm not worth it, or because I'm not capable of X, Y, or Z. Well, the thing is that I have to recognize, and I'm using I statements here to see if this, responds to, if this helps anyone out, is that if you reach this phase, remember that there may be someone half a step or a step behind you, if we want to look at linear time and not making a comparison, but you may be wrapping up a learning lesson that someone is currently going through, and you can teach them what you did to get out of it, what you experienced in order to help that person. So it doesn't mean that you have to reach this mastery guru monk point in order to become a teacher. You can teach someone, if you're, 6 months on the Ascension journey, you may be able to help someone who's just starting out or just waking up. Or if you're, who knows, your knowledge and your wisdom, whatever natural imprint you hold and the mastery you hold within already, could help someone who's highly evolved. We never know. And this is where we have to open ourselves up to the fact that we have a special innate gift, whatever your innate gift is, whatever your calling is. And if you're feeling that calling, that it's time to arrive and it's time to step up, it's because you're ready. There's still a program running that's saying, I'm not ready, or I'll be ready when ... X, Y, and Z, based on the patterns of existence that we've lived up until the now moment, the I am presence, right here, right now, as you're watching this video. So take a look at that. See how your universe is reflecting things back to you as you are in your transition phase, and kind of take note too of what phase are you in. Did you just make a quantum leap? And because you took that quantum jump, you're facing a lot of interference because programs are being ran back to you. Are you in the confirmation stage? Are you receiving a lot of confirmation that you're on the right path? Are you about to make a quantum jump? Are you about to step into into something for yourselves, and you're stripping a lot away extremely fast? And when I say quantum leap, what I mean is, everything is quantum when it comes down to it, as far as leaps. Like me moving my hands is quantum. What I'm talking about is taking a massive change, or taking massive action towards whatever it is that you desire. What phase are you in? Are you in phase 1, where you just made the jump and it's all, cheery and fine? Are you in phase 2, where everything's being reflected back to you and you need to look at your limiting beliefs and your thought systems and your structures that are currently running in order to break them down to build anew? Or are you in phase 3, where you've already worked through that stuff and you're in the confirmation stage and you're still, stripping out a lot of that programming, that belief system? Check in, and that will basically be a level of awareness where you can see where you're at, and you can start to figure it out accordingly, what's going on. And if you're in phase 2, I just went through this phase 2 recently, and I'm still kind of like on the tail end of it as I've landed here in the apartment. And that's just things being reflected back, going, okay, you need to let this go, let this go, let this go. And as soon as I hone in on the belief and what it is, it gets stripped out faster than I even think. So right now, especially with the level of work that I've done and where I'm at spiritually, a lot of this programming release and things like that start to happen in dreamscape. My angels are working with me, and also too, me at a soul level knows how to strip away this belief. And as I start to shed more layers, I start to remember my mastery within, and my soul takes over and starts to do things and starts to get the work done. And a lot of it is just by saying, I choose to release this. I consciously choose to release this. And that's intention-based ways of working. We don't have to just dive in really deep into a notebook and do shadow work unless that's something you want to do. I still do that from time to time with journaling. A lot of the times now, it's just saying, oh, I see that this is operating, and I want to clear it now. And stating the intention, okay, this is what's going on. I see what you are. Let's remove it. And then soul and spirit takes over in order to extinguish it. And there may be little patterns of it still in my field, and it'll be reflected back, and it gives me more of an opportunity to clear at a deeper level. So that's all I got, guys. Much love and respect to everybody out in the Webiverse. I just wanted to hop on and kind of do a video flow on what I was receiving yesterday, and just kind of give some insight of some stuff that I've tuned into recently and kind of what's been going on with me. So everyone, if you haven't clicked subscribe, all my links are in the description box. Also, my Patreon is now active. I have not posted anything on Patreon because I don't have any patrons on there, but I do have a 4-tier system with 4 different tiers. If you want to subscribe, there's going to be channelings up there, activations, healing work done, things of that nature. New services are coming, so I'm going to be doing different activations, connection systems, things of that nature, just kind of upgrading what offers I'm having as far as energy work is concerned. My website is down just because finances and moves, let's just put it that way, and stripping out abundance programming. So my email list is still active. There's gonna be a lot more content coming out as we're now in the apartment, or at least I'm in the apartment, and there's more space now to be able to do things like that. And also I'm going to put up some tutorials if you move into a new environment of how to set up your home energetically. We started doing one yesterday, but my phone died. But I'm going to go through a little tutorial on how to raise the vibration of your home, and the self-care and the things that I do in my temple when I am in my own home and I have full control over it, you know, energetically, and not in a narcissistic way, but in a sense of being able to keep the vibration as high as possible. I'll do a video on some techniques in order to get your home into a 5th dimensional experience as you are starting to ascend, 5D or higher experience, depending on where you're at and as your body is catching up. Reiki calendar is wide open. I will be holding the discounted prices on the Reiki for probably the next couple of days, and the prices are going to go back. So guys, thank you so much for all your support, all your messages. If you need anything, feel free to reach out, shoot me an email. I've been getting some emails lately from people that are struggling. If you're struggling, you know, go ahead and reach out. I've got a lot of time now, at least for the time being, and I don't mind calling you and just talking to you for a few minutes. If you need someone to talk to or vent, or you need some advice, hit me up. Right now, it's just all about really stepping full-time into service, 100%. Like, yes, I do have some paid services, but if you can't afford it, still hit me up. I'm not going to deny a service to someone based on if they can't afford something. We will work something out. That's the way I'm trying to operate, and it's something I've been having to struggle with, especially doing this full-time. You know, I do want to go get a 9-to-5 job just to have a side income, but Spirit keeps telling me, nope, you got to do this full time. You got to suit up and show up. You got to keep doing what you're doing. So, you know, yeah, anyways, if you're struggling at all, just contact me. If you need something, contact me. If you can afford it, cool. If you can't, still contact me. Money should never be a block from you receiving the help that you need, because there was many times in my life where I needed help from someone and I reached out to them, and this person was within resonance, or I thought so at the time, and there was someone that I thought I could get help from, and I was left all alone. And that's completely unfair, and I don't want to deny services to anyone who needs them, as long as they are using them they are using it as a way to get out of the situation they're in, and not just being 100% reliant upon free services. Because I think the most selfish act, the most selfish act I could do is by, let me rephrase that. The most selfless act I could do is just be doing everything for free. But my soul needs finances in order to survive. We still live in this economic construct where we have to rely on money. And also too, I want to bring in the resources that I need in order to take my mission to the next level and to be able to expand into a larger audience and be able to do more work, and that requires money. But I'm never going to deny a service to someone based on finances alone. The only thing is that, you know, I may not be able to do the full extent like I would if I were getting paid for those services. So anyways, quick little explanation. But yeah, if you're struggling at all or you need some help, please reach out to me, thoughtsoldiers@gmail.com. And that's all I've got, guys. Much love and respect to everybody. Once again, out in the Webiverse, I love you all. Sending you lots of love and light and firing rainbows your way. Hope you are enjoying your experience. If you are transitioning, I hope your transition is smooth. If it's abrupt, hold on. Keep looking at the reflection, adjusting everything internally, and watch everything change externally as you are going through this, and just flow into it. Flow into it. Flow into it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And recognize that this is all happening for our highest good. All right, guys. I will see you on the other side. Namaste.